I am here. Hello. Hello? How are we? This music is very intense. I'm gonna hop along to a cuter track. I mean, it's cute, but very intense. Hello, everybody. Hey, Pigment Witch, Leech, Doku, Wretched, Rat Kiddo, Amity, Bubble Cat. Hello. So it's gonna be a solo stream today. It's just me. Bones has a migraine. He's off eating macaroni and cheese right now. Nursing his head back to health. But yeah, welcome everybody. Oh, there he goes. There goes the boy. Hello, Recality. Hey, Clad. How are we? I'm just setting up my tablet and then I'll be more attentive to you lovely folks. Oh no. Hey, AZ. All right. Let's go. What the heck do I even talk about? All by myself. How about you guys? I don't know. You could ask me questions if you'd like. There we go. You could ask me questions if you want. You could, I don't know. I want to talk about my day, but my day is so boring. I feel like all I do anymore is work at my day job, and that's it. Okay, actually, we had some eventful stuff happen. So, Bones, his glasses broke earlier this week. So, we had to get him an eye exam. And to do that, I had to call a bunch of places, and everywhere was booking into like June. So I was like, no. I need that sooner. So we got onto a waiting list, and then luckily they had a cancellation right away, so he got to go in today and get his eyes looked at. But now he's still waiting on glasses. He also had to wake up early for the appointment, so we think that's contributed to the migraine. So that's why his head is all hurty today. Man, I've been struggling so hard with this panel. How the hell do you draw? How the heck? Dennis, how do your freaking legs work? Are there mods here? I'm a mod. I'll attack you if you're being bad. Oh, there's bots. Oh, that's why you're talking about it. Well. Well. Alright, any tips on how to do the middle of your plot? I can basically, so I'm not the writer of the team, but I can parrot what Bones says. So, for the middle of your plot, it's tough, because it's like the meatiest part of your story is the second act, so the middle. Because the first act is all the introduction, leading up to like the inciting incident and the adventure starting and all that stuff. And then like Act 2 is like a bunch of plot turns and pinches and trial fail cycles and your midpoint, and it all leads up to like the, what do you call it, your low point, which then leads to Act 3. But anyways, I think the best thing to do to figure out for things to happen in your middle, a good prompt for every scene that you write is to go yes, but, no, and. So every scene, your characters should have a goal that they're trying to achieve, whether that's like trying to get information or trying to get to a place or whatever it is. They should all have a want and a goal for every scene. And through the course of that scene, you can say yes, they achieve their goal, but something happens that makes their situation worse. So let's say they are really hungry and they want a sandwich from the cafeteria at lunch. So yes, they get their sandwich, but someone knocks it out of their hand and it falls on the floor, so they can't eat it. And then that leads you to your next scene where you're like, okay, well, what do they do about that? And the other thing you can do is you can say no and. So your character could not get the sandwich. They're sold out. There's no sandwiches. In fact, there's no more food. The cafeteria is closed. And then it gets worse. So the cafeteria is closed and they get called into a meeting, so they can't go and get lunch, so they're still hungry. Like, and you just do that, so you keep answering that for like over and over again with your plot. And eventually things will kind of escalate as you kind of make situations worse and worse for your characters, and eventually that'll lead you to their lowest point. Yeah. I've also that's also been called trial fail cycles. So that's another way to kind of like make things happen in your plot. It's the same concept, but just kind of written differently. Basically, you want your characters to have goals, try for their goals, but they ultimately fail until the end of your story when they achieve their goals, or, turns out they needed something else in the end, whatever the ending of your story is. So that's another way to keep things going, is just have them keep trying to solve whatever problem they're having, and then it fails. Oh no, the lady's back. The lady. Please, lady. Lady, no. There we go. Whew. So yeah, hopefully all that makes sense. That's your second act is really hard. In the first part of your second act, you're building up to the midpoint. So the first half of your story, your characters are asking questions and finding things out. And then the midpoint is when all your questions are answered, and then they're trying to solve whatever the problem is that you've set up in your Act 1. And you can do all those things through trial fail cycles. Monica, go to the couch. Couch. Go. Go, Mado. Go, Mado. Go. Go, Mado. Go, Mado. Go. Matica's just been crying at me all day. If you hear whistling in the background, it's this heckin' dog. She's just been crying. I thought she wanted on the couch, so I tried to cheer her on, but she doesn't. I don't know what to do with her. She's very sad. Her life is falling apart. Just put the characters through absolute misery so that achieving their goal is more satisfying. Exactly. That is exactly what a story is. Everything is always getting worse for your main characters. The middle story is trying to figure is okay. So you have the middle of your story, but the beginning is harder. Sometimes that can be helpful. I've definitely had stories where like you can have the end, so you know where their end result is. So to write your beginning, you just need to like, what's the opposite state of their end state? So like if at the end they're, your main character is like brave and she fought the dragon, and she kissed the girl. At the beginning, she is not brave. There's a dragon causing trouble, and the girl doesn't know she exists. Like, that's the whole opposite of where she ends up. So that's like a good way to kind of start. If you're at the middle, there's a lot of different ways you can go. But definitely, like, your character should learn things as the plot goes on. If we're talking about writing advice, can you show me how you format your comic script? I don't have that on me right now. I'd have to go digging through my files. Also, Bones is the writer. He writes them all. I have nothing. I am simply the artist. But we do have a video on how we format our comic scripts. If you go to our channel and just search up like comic formatting or comic script, I'm sure it'll show up. It should have a thumbnail with like a comic script on it. You paused the stream, Leech. How dare you? Flat character arcs are a thing. Sometimes your characters don't change. There's still like a change state though, because even if your character like doesn't change from like a personality standpoint, like I don't know, if their end state is like they're a brave person, they start the story as a brave person, but there's still a change in like the status quo. So it might not be like a character story, but maybe like, hey Tara B. There may be a the end of your story, like you have your brave character and she saved her village from I don't know, a goblin attack or something. I don't know. So probably your inciting incident at the beginning of your story is there's a goblin attack, or there's going to be a goblin attack. So there's still a change through your story, even if it's not your character maybe doesn't have a huge arc, but the story, the plot, the situation your character's in, it still changes throughout the story. Otherwise, it would be super boring if absolutely nothing changes. I feel like you'd have to be doing something really like artsy-fartsy. Where the whole point is that nothing changes, and I don't know, it's depressing. Sounds like a boring book, but you never know. Manika, go lay down. How long should the outline of a chapter be? Mine are 1.5 pages, but doesn't seem like it should be that short when it's done. It depends. Some people need really detailed outlines. Some people need really bare bones outlines. It also depends on how long your chapter is, because you could have a chapter that's 3 pages and it still counts. Or you could have a chapter that's like 50 pages. There's no rule. So if it works for your story, it works. I'd recommend writing a script more than an outline on top of your outline. Just saying. Not sure if the message posted, but I recommend Studio Binder for script writing. Oh, okay. Bones uses Scrivener. I've never heard of Studio Binder, but that would probably be cool. Some people are like me and don't outline. Leech. Are you scripting? Did you guys hear Manika's big groan? She's been crying and then she just laid down next to me. I was like, ugh. Do you have advice on how and when to add filler episodes? That I'm not sure. Filler. I think, so a filler episode, actually I think I do kind of have some understanding of when to use filler episodes. I wouldn't call them filler, because if it's filler, it's useless. Like, people say like something's a filler episode to be like derogatory to it, and your story probably shouldn't have like extra fluff to it that's not necessary to the story. Obviously you can if you like that stuff. But anyways, I think an important scene or chapter, depending on your story, to include is called a scene sequel. It's usually told in like scenes. So you'll have a scene where a lot happens, and sometimes it's like a I don't know, there's a big reveal in the mystery, there's like a heated argument between characters, there's like a battle that they lost, a character learns a big reveal about their family, like a big event happens in your story. You want to include a scene after that called a scene sequel, where the characters will take a moment to reflect on what's happened, and it can kind of give them a moment to like it gives your reader a moment to take a breath and allows you to kind of like change directions if you need to and have your characters like react to the things that have happened. So you could have like a filler chapter that's like a scene sequel chapter. So like you have this big reveal in the you have this big moment in the chapter before, and then the next chapter the characters take some time to like reflect about what's happened, maybe do some character building, some relationship building, and have that filler episode. Yeah, you can definitely use it to like figure out character interactions and stuff. Because especially if you have something that's like episodal, like I think you do have more kind of license to like experiment and have chapters where characters just like interact and you can play around with different situations. But if you're having something that's very like a linear story, I think you maybe don't want kind of fillery, fluffy stuff. If that makes sense. Also depends on your genre, because you can there's certain genres where fluff is like their bread and butter. Hey, Bubble Cat. A script but outline is a no-go for my small brain? Interesting. I find usually people do the opposite of you, Leech. Everyone's like, outline, no script. And I don't know why. I usually write my script in a document. Oh, these tools sound nice. Scrivener is really nice because it does a lot of formatting for you, like automatically, and you can output like PDFs really easily, like formatted, not PDFs. I mean, you can do PDFs, but like EPUBs and ebooks and stuff. I enjoy listening to true crime and horror while working on my comic. Oh man. For horror podcasts, I listen to, so probably my favorite fiction horror podcast is the Magnus Archives. That one's really good if you're looking for like a narrative kind of story. I've tried for another narrative one. I've been enjoying The Milkman of St. Gaff's. That's a good one. I haven't caught up recently, but that one was really fun. Which is another horror fiction podcast. I've tried I Am in Askew, which is another fiction one. I'm not sure about it. I haven't finished it. I don't know if it's finished or if it's still updating. But anyways, I got so far in it and I was like, I don't know. It's kind of depressing. That one's depressing. As for like true crime, I've been listening a lot to The Casual Criminalist with Simon Whistler, and his other show, Decoding the Unknown, is another one by him that's really fun. So those are more like debunking conspiracies, and The Casual Criminalist, that's really hard to say. Casual Criminalist is true crime. Oh yeah, I do watch Wendigoon as well. He does a lot of good horror stuff and true crime stuff. I'm a simple leech. Have you seen anything about High Guardian Spice? I have not. I've heard a lot of people really don't like it though. That's all I know about it. Never finish your outline because then you have to write your comic? Yeah, ew. Writing comics? Drawing comics? Disgusting. Could never. I enjoyed the earlier episodes of Magnus Archives. I listened to almost all of Fact Boy's podcasts. Yes! We love Fact Boy. What are other ones I listened to? Let me find out. I'm gonna put on a new music. There we go. Oh, another YouTuber who does horror and true crime stuff that I like is Hannah the Horrible. Her channel's really nice. She's very, she's got such like a soothing voice to listen to. I wrote a single outline consisting of me writing blah 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 gay stuff. Hell yes. That's the problem with outlines I find whenever I write an outline for something. It usually, I'll have big swaths of like plot where just like, I'm like, and then stuff happens. And then later I'm like, Ursula, what was supposed to happen? Go straight for the storyboard. Oh my god, Doku. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, anyways. I'm always looking for fun horror stuff to watch or listen to, so let me know if you guys have anything. I love the way you wrote my name, Clad. And then a fight scene happens. Thanks, past me. Exactly. Past me. What a jerk. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna re-ink this gosh dang panel, and it's the last gosh dang time I'm doing it, okay? I'm so sick of redoing this panel. I've done it like a million times. Anyways, does anyone have any more questions? I'm getting a lot of writing questions. And I can tell you what Bones says. But I myself am not an award-nominated writer, so don't trust my opinions. But trust Bones' opinions. You encounter thespians. Amazing. Character design? What about character design? One of your videos you mentioned having a Discord. Can you give a little more information on that and how to join? There should be a link down below. So if you click the Discord link, it should lead you to the website or the app. Our Discord is all about, it's just like a nice little community where you can talk about art with other people and writing. It's just nice. A lot of people just kind of chat and hang out and, I don't know, post their art, talk shop, Talk art shop. Yeah, it's just chill. It's very friendly. Check it out. Oh, hello. Welcome back to the stream. Hold on. What are you saying? What's up with Bones? Bones is nursing a migraine right now. So he's napping currently, actually. Because his little head hurts. Any advice for how to draw character transformations? So they don't look like an Animorphs cover. Transformations. It depends. Cause is it like a horrific transformation, like someone turning into a werewolf in like a horror story? Or is it like a cool transformation, like a fantasy, like, I don't know, a character turning into like their more strong form type thing? Because there's a lot of different ways to show it. I feel like if you're doing like the horrific route, like it's supposed to be really creepy and disturbing, I guess. I think focusing on like the really visceral details can help, like showing like I don't know. If I'm thinking like a werewolf, like show their like I don't know, like bones cracking and stuff from like the transformation or whatever. And if you're doing something cool, I'd say just do like a really quick, like, I don't know, say someone's turning into like, I don't know, like a cool wolf creature. I don't know. I just have them in one panel, just like just stepping into the form, I guess, and not do any of the like in between stuff, if that makes sense. Like your art and the concepts. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was directed at me. Thank you. My goodness, there's so many questions. Oh, for the Discord, we do have a Patreon section. So there's like a private section for Patreon supporters. But there is just general channels in the Discord. Advice from movies and films? Oh yeah, there's a lot that transfers over from like film and comics. Like I talk about like camera angles a lot, which is like, I don't know, that's the only way I can really describe it. Because there's all this terminology for like where to place your camera when you're filmmaking, but the same thing applies for drawing comics. It's just a drawing instead of pointing a camera at something. But for me, it's always like there's a hidden camera in there to help you kind of understand like how to show your panels, I guess. But yeah, there's lots of stuff like, I mean, composition rules that apply to art also apply to film and comics. There's definitely, I find with comics, there's more, you're able to show, this is a common problem between people who go from like learning animation to doing comics, is they'll try and show kind of like, sorry, how am I trying to say this? So with animation and film, you need a lot of, like, you can't have like your camera spinning around because otherwise it's very like disorienting for the audience. Generally, like you'll have you'll be following like, I don't know, a character movement, and your eye kind of goes around the composition following movement. But with comics, you kind of have to, it's all implied movement. You can show like multiple states of movement in one panel. You don't have to limit it to one panel the way you'd have to limit it to like one keyframe in an animation. Yeah. So there's lots of fun things that comics can do that you can't necessarily do in film or animation. I have to watch movies and game analyses. Try to adapt that technique to comics. Totally. There's lots of things you can learn from other mediums that you can bring to comics. Because, like, I think it was asked in our... We have a channel in our Discord for, like, video topics. From when we did videos and not only live streams. Where they were asking about how, like... Because video games have, like, inherent... Like, it's inherently different as a medium because you have the player interacting with the story and the environment, which can drastically change kind of, like, how they interpret the story and how they interact with the story and all this stuff and the art. And they were asking, like, do comics have anything like that? And I think, like, web comics are really interesting that way. Same with any kind of serialized fiction where it's being posted online, because you can get that interaction with your audience as it's being made. I guess it's the same with, like, serialized TV as well, but, you know, there's more people involved in, like, TV productions. But, like, you can, like, I mean, there's, like, Homestuck, where it started out with, like, people suggesting things, like, in the forums and stuff, and that would get brought into the comic. Like, character names were chosen that way, which is really interesting. I mean, Homestuck's a very interesting case because it's got, like, animation and audience interaction and stuff. But there's definitely, like... I'm not exactly sure what it is yet. I'd have to do some really thinking on it, but there's definitely some interesting interaction between the audience and the comic and the creator through, like, serialized web comics. Comics are also really interesting, just because I don't know, they are definitely an interesting medium, because, like, you can, because you're limited in that, like, there's no audio in the way that there is with, like, a film or an animation. But, like, you can include animation in a comic, and that can still be a comic. I guess there's animated comics that I don't know if they still count as comics. I don't know. That's a whole thing. They probably do, but anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But they are an interesting medium because it is visual. But there's really interesting stuff you could do with using only still images, and using, like, composition to really create really interesting visuals. Like, made my OC too thick. Oh no, travesty. Do you have any tips on drawing hands and how to draw them? First off, use reference. Draw from life as much as you can. Do your studies. Because even if you're doing, like, a simplified cartoon or, like, anime manga style, it's still based off life. So that's the best place to start when you're trying to learn how to draw something. But with hands, what helped me with understanding them, so if you ever watch my stuff, I always say everything is boxes, including hands. So hands, so you have your palm. With anything, it's helpful to break them down into shapes, basic shapes. Because when you look at a hand, it can be really overwhelming because hands can like bend in all weird ways. There's so many moving parts with all the fingers, and like the palm can fold, and like what the heck is your thumb doing? It's a lot. But it helps to break it down into shapes. So I always have the palm as like a square. I'll have my wrist, so like you got a little rectangle. The thumb, I find it really helps to add like this little square in the bottom quarter, which is where the thumb comes out. Because if you look in real life, you have this like piece of muscle here that's really meaty, where your thumb connects. So I always draw that in, and then your thumb. The thumb's a weird one, but it can basically be broken down into like squares and triangle kind of shapes. And same with the hands. It helps to like kind of split it up into the different thingies. But yeah, but then you can, I always find it helpful to like draw the full finger and then do the segments, but I think it depends on the person. I find when I do the segments, things kind of get stiff and weird. But anyway, so yeah, so then you can play around with like the sizing and the position and stuff, and using reference again, because it's really helpful. Because even I, as someone who draws hands a lot and feels very confident about drawing them, sometimes I need a reference because I'm like, can a hand bend this way? But yeah, so once you have the basic like rectangle shapes down, you basically kind of carve away the edges the way you would with like if you're sculpting or sanding down like a wooden thing you've made, because now you're a carpenter. Anyways, but yeah. So yeah, that's how you draw a hand. Again, use reference. Use reference, break things down into shapes. Everything is boxes. There you go. You can draw anything. On drawing hands, sometimes it helps to feel... Oh, like touching your other hand to feel the boxes? Definitely. Like sometimes when I'm having trouble drawing a pose, I will stand up and get into that pose, because feeling how it feels to like do it yourself can really help with like understanding how to draw it. And if you have friends or loved ones or a partner or people in your house you can bother, definitely get them to model for you and be your reference, because that's even better than using photographs, because then they can do the exact pose that you want. "50% well thought out hands." Oh no. 50% scribble hands? Hell yes. Listen, sometimes the comics, like look at this. I'd leave stuff like this in the comic, because I don't care. I got better things to do than to perfectly model every single hand in my comic. And you do too. Because comics take a lot. And I'd recommend focusing on getting the meaty pieces of your comic done, rather than worrying about all the little details. I actually don't know if Dennis in this scene is wearing gloves or not. I'll just draw all the little fingies and figure it out later. Ugh. Yeah, don't worry about making everything perfect, because You know, if every pork chop was perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. So. Sometimes the characters are literally triangles. Hell yes. I'm living for that energy. I have so many pictures of myself on my phone for reference. That's amazing. Imperfection is beautiful. Exactly. Good artists finish their work. Bad artists never finish anything. And never show the world their greatness. Though if you are struggling with finishing things, I believe in you. I know you're a good artist. Just gotta get out there. Get out there, bucko! What if I don't have any greatness? Did you just call us all bad artists? Yeah. Guess what? You can change that status. You can finish your work. I feel like my comic has too many panels of just a character's face. Yeah, you should fix that. You should do more panels. There's a rule of thumb I heard. I don't think it applies to every page, but a good rule of thumb is to try and show a full body image of your characters every page, or as close as as you can. That way, it's not a page just of close-ups of faces. Now, obviously, there's situations where you only want to show your characters' faces, for many different reasons, but generally, one full body every page. Should I sketch out a bunch of pages for my comic and then polish them? Or should I sketch and polish them one by one? I tend to do your first option there, doing things in bunches and batches, just because I find like you can really get into a groove that way. And I find things are more consistent when I do that. Like if I finish each step one by one and polish it one by one, I find like there's big jumps in the way I draw things. Whereas if I do it all in batches, I find I get more consistency and it's faster. But if you find that doing things in batches, you don't like it and you'd like to like finish a whole page, like start to finish, and it suits you better, then do that. Have faith in yourself and enjoy drawing. Exactly. Believe in yourself. Exactly. You have to finish your comic because death is imminent. Life is short. Make comics. No problem, Nikki. I want to work on my comic so bad, but I need to write out the rest of my story. Do it. Honestly, if you start doing like thumbnails and sketching, you're probably okay, even if you haven't finished writing it. But it is really good to write out your whole thing first, at least a detailed outline before you start drawing, so that you don't draw yourself into a corner. If your characters are in a war, how can I start it? Okay. I can't give specific advice on how to start your story. Because I don't know your story. I don't know what your goals are for it. But good ways to open a story. One is, one way is called, I think it's called in media res. It's where you kind of drop things like right into the middle of the action. That's an interesting way to start your story. Like start in the middle of, so if your characters are like in a world war, like show like a battle happening and drop your reader right into the middle of that, and then they'll be like, whoa, what's happening? And then want to know more. That's one way to do it. Another great way to start a story is to show your character doing something they're competent at, if that makes sense. Like obviously your character won't be perfect at the beginning of their story, typically if they have like an arc where they improve upon themselves and changes people, or get worse if it's a tragedy. But anyways, it's an interesting way to show, get people interested in your character. So like if your character is a thief, you can start the story showing them doing thievery, or if they're I don't know, what's other stuff people are good at? I don't know, if they're like a smooth talker, you could show them like chatting someone up. I don't know. There's lots of different ways to do that, but that's a good way to start it and kind of show like, look at this strong, interesting character. Wow. And yeah, it gives you more ideas than just, and it's an interesting way to introduce them because you can show a lot about someone when they're doing something they're good at. I got a whole outline for the story. I need to dig deeper and write out the script. Yeah. Do it, Chai. Do it. I believe in you. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially with fantasy, because you want to because there's a lot of things you have to do when you begin a fantasy story. Like you have to introduce your characters like you do in any story, but now you also have to show like, how is this world different than our reality without it being totally info dumpy. But in comics, I think you can definitely get away with having that kind of info dump prologue beginning of story where you're like, this is how the world is. You can do that a little bit with comics because like comics, there's less like stuff you can put in a comic compared to like a novel. So if you're writing like prose, you can do a lot in writing like paragraphs and stuff than you can in like a single comic page, just because like the visuals kind of take up more space than words do, obviously. So yeah, so I think you can get away with kind of summarizing things in captions and dialogue in comics more than you can in prose, where you can kind of expand on things, and it can be boring to read a prose book where it's all just like info dumping and summarizing. I'll do my best. Good. How do I get rid of a character if they aren't needed in the story anymore without killing them? So you've already started the story and you can't go back and get rid of them from the beginning? Or they've fulfilled their part of the plot and they're not needed anymore? Because there's a few different ways you could do it. So if, say, like, they were necessary for the story, but they're done their part in it now, you could find a way to bring them in again, like find a new way for them to contribute to the plot. Or you could just leave them behind. Like, just say, like, they've done their thing, they're gonna go, I don't know, off to a different location to do something else, or like they have a tearful goodbye with the rest of the characters. Kill. I don't know. You can get creative with that stuff because you could find another way to incorporate them. But sometimes characters are just done in the story, and that's okay, you know? They can leave, and their part is done. Yeah, they can retire. How did I get away with info dumping? Accidentally writing an isekai. Listen, having a Watson character, so like your reader, your reader surrogate who can ask questions like, where am I? Why do people have pointy ears? Are they elves? Because they're from our world and they've never seen an elf in real life. That's really helpful when you're writing a story, because then the reader can be like, yeah, I was wondering that too. Thanks, main character. Give the character an obligation that requires them elsewhere. Totally. They're like, man, now that I've fulfilled my dreams, I'm gonna go open that bakery I've always wanted to open up. Bye. That's the nice thing about putting characters away, is you can bring them back to fill up plot holes. Exactly. Exactly. Where am I? Am I dead? Why's that guy have pointy teeth? My planet needs me. Give them a coffee shop AU? Yes. Exactly. That's what they deserve. They fulfilled their plot obligation. Have them leave because it's not their problem anymore. Exactly. They're done. I mean, that happens in stories all the time where, like, I mean, it's harder when they're like a main character. If it's like a side character, they can just leave at any time. But if it's like your main character, you don't have anything to do with them, you gotta find something for them to do. I have a demon and a human character. And they just explain things to each other. Very good. Have the main characters bully them until they leave. Turn them into a villain. I mean, that is one way. I mean, there is a reason that people kill off, like, mentor characters. Because then they're gone, and then they can't help anymore. I mean, there's a few different reasons that they kill off mentor characters, but, like, you know, it's so the hero can't rely on the mentor forever. Oh. Fine. I won't use my Apple Pencil. It's battery. But yeah. Exactly. Well, that's like, that's like a musical thing. Is like you have your song that's like your introduction song where it's like, this is the status quo, and then you have like the song where the character sings about what they want. And then I don't know, you keep going. I don't know the rest. It's about drive, it's about power. Mentor characters are too OP. Exactly. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Though I'm not very familiar with like that side of comics. Point, but it is several issues of introducing all 1,000 cats. Exactly. It's a big opening number. Oh my god, 9 Point the musical? I would die. It's the Cats musical! Yes! That's what I want for 9 Point. It's just cats. How do you fit 5 people in one panel? You just gotta pull it out. Like, do a really pulled out shot so you can see most of the room. Or you can overlap them. You gotta get creative with your compositioning. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I can get away with drawing stub feet. No one will notice. I'll notice. I'll know. I'll read your comic and I'll shake my head. You've got good intuition in simplifying forms? It comes from a lot of practice, I think. And a lot of trying things out. Because sometimes you'll simplify something and you'll be like, this doesn't make any sense. And it really helps to do studies, because then you kind of know what you can get away with simplifying and what needs to keep detail. I don't know, it's really difficult to... I wonder that sometimes, because, like, I'm so in my own head when I'm, like, learning how to draw. I found, like, doing this channel and, like, talking to people about, like, comics and stuff has helped me, have, like, concrete ideas about, like, how to do things and, like, how I learned things. But a lot of it is kind of, like, it feels intuitive, where I'm like, I don't really know how I learned that. I just picked it up somehow. Finch do be angry. I like your choices in which wrinkles to draw. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's like... I've definitely had points where I was drawing, like, too much detail on things. Or not enough. So yeah, I've definitely had to find a balance. Only draw everyone from the knees up. I reveal they have boobs. Please. Oh? You okay? Oh! Goodbye, Mabel. Bones is back. He's back, baby. Oh, wait.
Hello. Your dad's back.
Your comic dad is back.
Yeah. I got the cigarettes, don't worry.
Oh no.
I came back with the milk.
Okay, good. I'll make sure I get cream tomorrow, because we need that for the coffee. Actually... Oh, I could steal some of your milk that you have.
Yeah. Because I came back with milk, I just said.
Yeah, you're right. What am I thinking?
Hi, Chad, I can't read you.
Wow.
I have a migraine, I can't look at you. I look at you guys and you're bright. Your bright little faces. Is everyone doing good? Everyone been nice to Ursula?
They're asking me writing questions. They think I'm smart.
Wow.
Maybe they don't. But they think I know writing things. And it's incorrect. Everyone says hello, Bones, and welcome back.
You know how to write RPs.
It's true.
Sort of.
A little bit.
When did this stream start?
Oh, it's over because it started
Oh.
at 6:30. Now it's 7:30.
I slept for an hour.
You did. I'm proud of you. You never sleep.
I don't. I have weird dreams, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember them.
Oh no. Were they good dreams or
I don't know.
scary dreams?
I don't remember them. I'm losing them now.
Okay.
I'm sleepy.
Sweet.
I just woke up.
Oh, right.
I just woke up. I gotta get a shot tomorrow.
I know. You gotta get poked.
Poke, poke.
Poke, poke.
I hope it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be quick.
Alright, you guys have fun.
Alright. Hold on. Oh, nice. I didn't destroy my page. Okay. Well, we're gonna head out. Thank you all for joining me today on my solo stream. I hope you all have a lovely night. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here and like the video. That would help us out a lot. And we'll see you guys on Saturday. Alrighty. Goodbye. Mwah. Love you. Work on your comics. Mwah.